Hi everyone, so I'm going to be doing I'm going to be doing this, and okay. So, I'm doing my own Total Drama season. So, the teams are Leaping Lizards, Hopping Frogs, and it's basically an all-star season, because of course it is. So, the contestants are Sky, Emma, Max, Harold, Alejandro, Noah, Stephanie, Zoe, Owen, Gwen, and Duncan. And on the Hopping Frogs, we have Dawn, Damien, MK, Rodney, Spud, Z, Emma, the other Emma, Stacy, Priya, Ryan, and Rocca. So the first challenge, I think the hopping frogs would win. So what I think will happen is that Duncan, Gwen, Owen, Alejandro, and Harold would form an alliance. Just putting Zoe over here already because they're all veterans, and I think Noah would not be in the alliance because Noah is too cool for them. I would think that Emma and Sky would be like really good friends. Noah and Stephanie would get into like a heated argument, and they go to the alliance and say, "Hey, Stephanie's like really bad at everything, so we should vote her out." And then these five agree, and then bye-bye Stephanie, you are the first eliminated. Anyway, the next challenge, I think the Leaping Lizard would lose again, because, plot twist. I don't know why. I think Noah again would probably go up to them and say, "Hey, Sky and Emma are big threats, so we should probably eliminate one." But then they'd probably disagree because Emma is good at challenges and Sky is also good at challenges. Noah's just a complainer all the time. Zoe's good at challenges, Max is just annoying, and Noah is, again, smart. I think Harold would go to Zoe and say, "Hey, let's vote out Max." Zoe would agree, probably. And then Zoe would go to both Emma and Sky and say, "Look, Max is going to be really annoying, so we should get rid of Max." And I think it would be a unanimous decision on voting off Max. Okay, so next I think that Hopping Frogs would lose because of probably Ryan ranting about Stephanie getting eliminated. Do I really have to explain who's getting eliminated? I mean, it would be very obvious. Ryan caused the challenge, so I think everyone would probably go into a unanimous decision and vote off Ryan. Next up will be a non-elimination, but two people from each team are going to be swapping teams. So I think Spud? No, not Spud. I think Dawn and Emma would swap teams, not gonna lie. Because Emma is like really good at challenges, and I think Dawn just wants to meet other people. Not gonna lie. So next up, I think Hopping Frogs would lose again. Because Emma is not really that popular. I think she would probably come up and say, "Hey look, we have to form an Emma alliance." So I think Emma and Emma would agree. I think Priya would probably join the alliance because she really has no friends on the team. You know, since Millie's not on the team. Funny, really funny. Not on, like, the show at all. I don't like her, that's why. I think Stacy would just go blah 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 blah. Everyone's just annoyed at Stacy, so I think they'll just vote Stacy off. So I think the Leaping Lizards will lose. And I think this is where the Veterans Alliance would probably go into like a havoc, because I think Duncan and Owen get into like a heated argument, and I think the Alliance, I think those two would probably, I think Duncan would probably leave the Alliance, come up to Dawn and say, hey look, let's vote for Owen tonight. I don't think Dawn would agree because Duncan has done some really bad stuff. So I think Dawn would go to literally everyone and say, vote Duncan, and I think they would all agree because Duncan's kind of weird. He's went to jail, so I honestly think Duncan is getting eliminated here. Anyway, I think Hopping Frogs would lose, and I think this is finally where MK stands up and say to the Alliance, I'd say we'd probably vote Rodney because he's weird and he's also a simp. I think they would agree, but Rodney would probably get I think Rodney would probably simp for everyone, except for the guys. So I think every single girl would vote for Rodney. Noah gets jealous, so he convinces both Rock and Damien to vote for Rodney, and I also think that Rodney can at least get Spud and me to vote for Damien, but Rodney still gets eliminated. Next up, I honestly think the Leaping Lizards will lose because of Owen, and I think it's because of Gwen and Noah like getting into a fight. But they have to choose on who's eliminated, so I think Gwen gets at least Owen, Harold, and Alejandro to vote for Noah. And I think Noah gets the others to vote for Gwen, which will be a tie, obviously. It would be 4 votes Gwen, 4 votes Noah, and as much as it pains me to say this, I think Gwen might win the tiebreaker and Noah will get eliminated. It pains me to say this. Also, by the way, Sky gets like a cursed totem thingy, and I think Alejandro would probably find the immunity totem. Just like in season 1. Well, at least the cursed totem thing. I think the Leaping Lizards would definitely lose again, and they would catch on that Dawn is a big threat, or at least the main alliance. But I think Harold would probably leave the alliance and say to the rest that, oh, Alejandro's a big threat, so we should eliminate him. But then he realizes that he has the immunity idol, so he tells the rest to instead vote for Gwen because he got Noah eliminated. So Gwen would get eliminated. Leaping Lizards lose once again, and I think they finally realize that Sky is actually cursing them. So I don't really have to explain what happened. Sky gets eliminated. Then we make it to, and then I think what will happen is, I think Damien, well, obviously the Hopping Frogs would lose because it's been a while since they've lost. I think Damien would go up to the Alliance and say to vote MK off, but MK would probably, but they don't listen because Damien's a boy. And MK just said, vote for Spud so we can get him out of here. They would be like, sure, why not? I think Damien would probably agree and say Spud is kind of weird, So Spud gets eliminated. Now we will have a team swap. So I'm gonna just mix some people on a team. So this will be the team, and this will be the other. So I think the new Hopping Frogs would lose. And since Emma doesn't really have the alliance anymore, and Owen doesn't either, I think Emma would be desperate to, like, get MK and Zoe to form an alliance with her. And I think Owen would probably form an alliance with Damien. But I don't think it would work, because I think it would work, because they would probably vote out Rock for being the only person not in an alliance. So I think Rock would probably get eliminated here. And then I think the Leaping Lizards will again lose. So they would have to boot a member. I think Dawn would probably lay low this elimination. I think Alejandro would convince at least these three to vote. I think Alejandro would convince literally everyone to vote for Z because he's a big threat. I don't think it would work though because Dawn is, you know, hard to impress, I think. Priya is also hard to impress, and I think Emma just does not care. So I think instead they would vote for Harold. I think V and Alejandro would team up in voting Emma, but I don't think it would work, and Harold gets eliminated. I think right now it will be a double elimination on both teams. So I think Alejandro would finally come up to Dawn and V and say to vote Emma off. And I don't think Emma would probably last that long in elimination. So Emma gets eliminated here. And the Hopping Frogs, I think Damien would probably... I also think that Emma would probably betray MK and instead be in a single alliance with Zoe. I think Zoe would convince Damien to vote for Owen because of obvious reasons. I think MK would probably convince MK to vote. I think MK would probably convince Emma to vote for Damien. So Zoe is. So I think Owen is the deciding vote. And knowing Owen, he wouldn't vote for himself. So that's bye-bye Damien. And now I think it's time we finally merge. Because, I mean, it is the final 8. So, I honestly think that... I think Zoe would probably win immunity. So, what I think is that I think MK would convince these 4 to vote off Owen, and I think Dawn would probably try and convince C, Owen, and Alejandro to vote off MK, but I honestly think it wouldn't work, and they would vote for Dawn. So Owen gets eliminated. No, not Dawn. Owen would get eliminated here. I think Alejandro would win immunity here because Alejandro's like really muscular and stuff. Priya's been laying low this entire time, and I think Priya is becoming a bit of a threat. So I think everyone except for Emma votes off Priya. Next up, I think it will be a shock for all of you, but I think Z will win immunity. And I think it's about time they finally come up and say, look, I think Alejandro is a bigger threat than Zoe, MK, Emma, and Dawn. But Zoe is winning challenges, but so is Alejandro. So I think what will happen is that V convinces Alejandro and MK to vote for Zoe, and Zoe convinces the others to vote for Alejandro. So I think they would tie. But I think Zoe might win the tiebreaker because she's more skilled than Alejandro. So this is where Alejandro falls. So I think... So, again, another shocker. I'm thinking Emma would win immunity here. I think Emma would convince MK and Zoe to vote out Z. I think Dawn would probably vote off MK because she's getting suspicious. And then MK, I think MK would rig the vote to get rid of Zoe. I think that would probably make sense because those two don't really know each other that well. I think MK would probably be like an evil villain. So final four. I think MK would win immunity here, and I think they would realize... I think Dawn and Z will realize that Emma would be a very big threat. But honestly, knowing MK, I think she would probably team up and try to vote Z off. So instead I'm gonna see... I think Emma might get eliminated here. By unanimous decision as well. I think MK would probably betray Emma and eliminate Emma instead. So I think we're down to the final three. I think Dawn would win immunity. And I think knowing Dawn, I kind of think MK will finally get eliminated here. Knowing Z, I think she would probably go with anything Dawn goes for. So this is the elimination order. And I'm going to make more content like this, by the way. So if you enjoyed the video, smash that like button, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye!